These sports will only give you certain things, but they'll take as much as you want. It'll take your marriage, it'll take your career, it'll take your health, it'll take everything from you. If I'm gonna do this, I need set guidelines I never deviate from. Just comes down to priorities. So it's just like family, career, then strongman, in that order, no matter what.
It's time to sit down, keep it real, and cut the bullshit. Welcome to Table Talk. All right, guys, we're back with another episode of Table Talk. My guest today is Brian Kichton. See, I told you I was going to do that, didn't I? Kichton, right? I do this all the time. Ilya is going to be co-hosting with us because my knowledge in strongman is getting better. It's getting better. It's getting better because I've sat on so many podcasts now.
You're getting the ins and outs.
Yeah. So he's got the questions that I won't think of that he'll be able to throw in there. But Brian is a pro strongman, coming off the Strongman Champions League win.
Yeah,
in 2020.
Really big one for him.
You know, a husband, kind of want to say has 2 children, but they're 2 pit bulls,
yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And recently just moved to Atlanta, which I want to talk about that, and is an internal market consultant market consultant. So and we work in the financial sector. Right. So there's balance things. There's all kinds of interesting things that we want to talk about here. Where I want to jump off with is let's just go into this win because it's still fairly fresh, you know, in your memory. So where was the competition at? Outside of like the boot story, it's about all I really remember from the GPT search. And I could talk about notebook LM, but that will be a crazy discussion. That's really not going to go anywhere.
That would be a whole topic of it.
It's a whole topic in itself, but it was, fuck it, I'll talk about it. I shouldn't have said that. But, you know, I use large language models, GPT, you know, for guest research and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And notebook LM, I put everything in there just because it creates mind maps and different flows and stuff like that. Then I click this little button and it creates a podcast of 2 people speaking about all the stuff that I put in there.
Wow. All right.
And I'm sitting there like, what?
So you don't need us all here.
Yeah.
Well, but then I can interact with it.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, cool. Then I'd ask the question.
Okay.
And there's a lot of times it's, well, you know, we couldn't find that research. I'm like, cool.
So he knows everything you're about to say.
Okay.
Not
So
everything.
we'll see how close it is.
Everything at the surface level, from loading in 10 YouTube videos, the research that I had, and a couple other, well, what you sent, and a couple other things.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say we're in the infancy of these large language models, but they're oftentimes not correct.
Yeah, they hallucinate, right?
Yeah, so I just remember the boot thing from the dumb podcast between the 2 robots, which actually had tonality. I'll quit talking about it.
No, that was interesting. I'll have to look that up. It sounds like one of those terrible fever dreams where you're like, I thought I saw that, but it was just a dream.
It messed with me pretty good for about a half an hour because I'm like, is this happening right now? I'll let you listen to it when we're done.
All right.
But anyhow, let's talk about that show.
Sure. Yeah. I was actually really nervous about it just because I had so many changes in life leading into it. I felt like I didn't really have a proper training cycle. Like it was.
So the move was before that?
Yeah, it was right before. So I moved to Atlanta like kind of last minute. Like I took the job. My last day was on a Friday in Boston. And then I started remote that Monday, worked a few weeks remote, and drove down over the holidays. And then the weekend I got there, I had a sales conference for a week. So I didn't train that week. I moved, then had a week-long sales conference, no training. And then it was basically time.
Well, some would call that a pretty effective deload.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a 3-week deload.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and we were still kind of like Madhouse, in my opinion, is like one of the best gyms in the world. We're still kind of working out the training environment there. So I didn't have a place to throw bags. Like I didn't even train some of the events. Mm-hmm. And so I like to come correct to the best of my abilities, you know? So I wasn't like completely there in my opinion, but I guess it was.
So what was the first event? Wow. How was the travel?
Oh, it's always, it's always a good time, especially getting to Finland. It's literally planes, trains, and automobiles. Like,
Did you get to take the small plane?
no,
To
not
Yansu?
this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're lucky you missed out on the summer season then.
Yeah. I took the plane back. Yeah. Yeah, like the propeller plane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you fly. I went down to Miami, then to Helsinki. And then from there, you get on a subway train to another train for another 4.5 hours, 5 hours. And then you get picked up in a car. And and I didn't even have a jacket. So this
how
is
long,
February.
how long did all this take?
About 24 hours usually.
Yeah.
It takes, yeah.
So you're just sleeping wherever you can sleep.
Yeah, you just sleep on the plane. I rented a room on the train, and the guy thought I was so weird because it's like a 4-person compartment. And they were like, "What are you doing with this? You're by yourself." And I laid on the floor and went to sleep. And the guy, I don't know if you're supposed to do that, but in Finland, everything's clean and safe. So they were just like that.
That's also not the first time he's done it.
Yeah.
It's the first time I met him in Finland the year before in the competition. His story was like, yeah, on my way here, I slept inside the train on the floor.
Yeah.
That was a reoccurring theme.
Jealous,
Some of that, and
I'm
some of
both
the,
jealous that he can do that and does that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's brilliant, but also sleeping on the floor in the train. I haven't even thought of that concept.
yeah.
I'm like a homeless person. Like I can just get by in any conditions.
How many days were you there before the competition?
Like a day and a half, give or
All
take.
right.
Yeah. No.
So that just stays with screw getting adjusted to the time zone. Just sleep wherever you can.
Exactly.
And it's just always the same. So what was the first event?
It was frame carry, and we were in the snow, by the way.
Well,
The whole thing was in the snow. It looked amazing, but it was a huge.
how deep was snow?
I think we got lucky. It was actually perfect, maybe like 2-3 inches, and
Okay.
they packed pretty tight. And they gave us these really, really nice boots too. So I'm thankful for that, because I just had my Nikes. I would have been in. I came with like not a real jacket and Nikes on. They were like, "This is all you brought." I'm like, "It's all." I forgot. I live in Atlanta. It's like,
Yeah.
I just showed up. But yeah, that went well. I got like third, I think, there. I was still kind of leaving some in the tank because I didn't know, like, a lot of these guys were able to do some of their training in the snow. So I think they knew what to expect. I had never done that. So not for nothing, I don't know if I would have won the event if I went full speed. But yeah, I held back a little bit there. And then I realized it was basically fine. And I just needed to push it. I wanted to win. So I'm like, whatever, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So the whole show is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So by holding back, what do you mean? Just you didn't push the steps, or?
Yeah, speed wise, I
Yeah.
was like a little bit careful. I just had all these ideas in my head, like slipping and tearing my hamstring off, like just how so many things that I meant.
It's not something you do all the time. Like the first idea you think about, like, yeah, taking the yoke out in the snow, but I'm like, I'll slip and die with it.
Yeah. And how's he going to practice that in Atlanta?
Yeah. Maybe the humidity, we can slip.
Yeah. Yeah. They go out on blacktop. It's really, really hot.
Recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that put you third going into the second event.
Yeah.
What was the second event?
Second event, I think, was a front hold, and I won that. Believe it or not, that ended up being a really good event for me. Ever since I started doing Champions League, they always have front holds, and we never do that in the US. And I think I didn't win it my first time doing it, but then I started training it and I got better at it. So now most people hate that event.
Yeah, what was the front hold? What was the implement?
It's always like something they build. It was just like a flat, like it was this kind of grip. It's like this long thing that hangs down, but yeah, just held it. It's a lot. It burns.
Yeah. Well,
Here's a pro tip for the athletes.
Okay.
Every time I say that I'm going to have a front hold, all of them message me and tell me how much they hate it and they don't want it. I'm like, this is more reason why I'm going to have it.
I'm the only one that likes it. Yeah, put it in for me.
Yep.
wouldn't you think that they would ask how much? Like how much it would weigh?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, I get that, but that would be the question that I'd want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Because it could be 40 pounds for 8 minutes.
Ooh, maybe
8 minutes. Yeah.
maybe like a little over a minute is usually.
Yeah.
I think I hold the actual world record so far from last year.
Oh, was it?
I held
from
the
Finland.
bicycle. Yeah.
Yeah, we were holding a bike.
40 something pounds. And I got the longest time so far in the world.
How long was that?
It's like 40, 43, 44 seconds, somewhere close to that.
It was an e-bike, and you had like funny grips, of course. Because,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that was interesting.
All right. So that led to what after that?
The yoke, and I won that event too. Yoke used to be a challenging event for me, and I've just been training it really hard. and I have different theories about why. I could give away my front hold secret too if you want.
Yeah, what's the front hold?
I've been training it now I'm not going to win it anymore, but I've been training it twice a week, tempo, like kind of light with dumbbells. Rather than doing the actual hold, I'll just do slow up and down. Mm-hmm. And that's you too.
How do you periodize it over time?
I do it kind of based on whenever I do any training, it's the main lift intensity kind of is the rest of the workout too. So it just kind of, the intensity there moves up and down with the main lift. Like 70% would be like a RP 7 and the 80% kind of like.
But are you making the tempo longer each week, or is it just the same tempo week after week after week, and then you load based upon how you feel after the main thing?
Exactly. Just controlled reps.
Okay.
Yeah, I did something similar where I'd do a max weight hold for as much time as I could, even if it's 5 seconds, and then I bring down the weight and do tempos.
Yeah.
That built mine quite a bit.
Now, how do you figure out exactly where you're going to hold it at? Because you hold it too high, you hold it too low. Yeah.
So there's a competition standard where usually if you go below your chin, then they call it off.
And they give you
or tell you to bring it up.
Like your arms need to be locked. That makes it a lot worse.
Yeah.
Because you want to bend, because then you get the weight closer to you, right? And it's like, just feels a little more comfortable. This feels pretty.
Well, now I'm going to circle this back to some powerlifting shit that I see. What about the guys that will say, well, I can't lock my arm out because of bone spurs and shit like that?
I think they give them a little leeway, right? I think
yeah.
Ahead of time.
So you have to show that that's where your elbow is.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I personally find it locked a little bit easier. Your hands just naturally kind of collapse and fall in. But you'll usually get 1 or 2 warnings, whether it's on the height or the elbows before they tell you to, or your butt sticking off the wall.
Yeah. What I would always find interesting with the powerlifters is you'd see them in the warm-up room and they could lock everything out. You know what I'm saying? But then when the judge would ask, he's like, this is my elbow. I get it. Play the rules.
Yeah.
So after that one, what was the next event? Now, is this all still on the same day at this point?
Yeah, this was all day one. Yoke, and it was long. I think it was, 50 meters?
It's probably that.
Yeah,
The back and forth there.
Is this in the snow too?
In the snow, the whole thing.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah, so, and it was a funny yoke because it actually, like, this is a funny thing in Champions League. There's always like girls involved. So they had a girl on each side of it in a chair and then the weight. So I don't know if it was like perfectly balanced, right? There's a little bit of variables there. But
does that create more swing?
I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
I thought I might, like in training, I'm like, should I get some people to stand on the side of the yoke while I do it or whatever? But it didn't matter. At that point, like I was in a good spot. Like I had third on the frame and then I won the front hold. So I'm like, at that point, I just hit the gas. I just pushed it. And I was honestly shocked. And the crazy thing in the snow is when I dropped the yoke, like you're used to in training, a lot of times we're on like rubber stall mats. It's like, boom, you drop it, stops. Where you actually have to watch out because it'll hit you in the back of the head.
Yeah. Been there.
So you drop this, it slid another like 5-6 feet. So you're like, oh no.
You actually learn to duck real quick.
Yeah,
when it hits you in the back of the head the first time.
When it kept going past the line. Like we got to cross the line before we could drop it, and then it's kept sliding. So we actually went further than 50 meters.
Yeah, the slide. The slide into home.
Yeah, then you're coming back. Just don't drop it. Whatever you do.
Was that the end of day one then?
I think it was 4 events each day. I can't believe I can't remember the events.
You had the truck pull the first day and the second day, or
just the second day?
Just the second day.
Yeah, so I think that would take us to the second day because that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
So 6 events then, right? If I remember right.
I thought it was 4 each day, but I could be wrong.
What was after?
I'm a space shot. I don't even know what I did. Like, I don't know. We did strongman.
Yeah.
Day 2 was a truck pull. And that was insane. That was like, because we were in the snow and it was this huge tractor. It wasn't a truck. And these big old tires in the snow. It actually wouldn't move when we were testing it. So we put it on wood for the first few feet. And then ideally you get the momentum and theoretically it would keep going. We had 90 seconds on that event too.
What about your grip with your feet?
That was the issue. So what it turned into, it's like on a truck pull, just some details that people told me recently, actually, just for people listening that have never done it. It's like when the ground's really good, like you can grip, you can get really low and use your legs a lot and you keep your head down. It's like you're almost like parallel to the floor. The worse the floor is, the more upright you are. because it's more arms. So for this one, I just imagined the whole entire thing like a set of deadlifts. So I would just get my grip. I was pretty upright, and I would pull the rope and push my hips forward at the same time. And it was just almost like we had to do like 40 deadlifts because we never got momentum. It's like you were just starting it over and over and over again. And it was 90 seconds. It's a long time.
That's a long time to deadlift.
One guy finished it. The guy that won the event. He's the only one that finished. I would think I was like a few inches from the finish. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one or two guys that finished it.
I finished it.
Yeah.
Because I got second and I didn't finish.
He didn't? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, second with a DNF. It was a tough one. But it was I was so smashed from that event. It was honestly unbelievable. Like my whole body was jello. And because of the format, and this is just the way it is, like I want the contest to keep moving, so this isn't a complaint. But when you go from like a one-man event or woman to a two person heat, the second event starts moving really fast. And because I was going into day 2 and first, I think I went last or close to last on the truck. So I didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
The next event was deadlifts, which was like the same muscles. So I'm sitting in the back and I'm like watching these heats go and I'm like, oh my God, I'm soon, I'm not recovered at all.
Was this a single deadlift or a rep deadlift?
Reps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Which you just did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
You just did the horizontal deadlift.
Yeah.
You're doing the vertical deadlift.
right, yeah, different variations.
Yeah.
Then this was like a lever. So it was almost like a car deadlift when it's a front handle.
Yeah.
But there was no car. It was just this big old lever and it was a stiff bar. And the weight in hand, I think it was like maybe 700 for reps. So it wasn't like crazy heavy. And we also had boots on, so it was different. So it was kind of funky. Like the boots had a little bit of a heel. And then because it's a lever, you're pulling back. So you're kind of fighting two different things at the same time. And I think I got second there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was up against Pat again. It was funny because you could see that typically the truck pull, the big guys win. Like when there's a truck pull, I know Ilya's going to beat me.
On 1 foot.
But then there's this one, the big guys didn't win, but the guys that won top 2 in the deadlift were top 2 in the truck. So I think it was like fully like a deadlift strength event.
Yeah.
Because I got second in the deadlift and I was in the same heat as Pat. And as soon as we started, I saw his reps and I'm like, all right, what do I need for second? His deadlift got a lot better.
Yeah.
My God.
So were you able to save some energy because of that? Or was that pretty much tapping you out?
Yeah, George, I think, was in third and he had maybe 6. I had to do 7. Yeah, I was pretty close. Like maybe I had one more. Pat probably had 11, 12 if he had to. He actually kept going. He wasn't watching me. So the referee was like, Patrick, stop.
Yeah.
It's like going to keep doing reps the whole time for no reason. Oh, and there was another event at day 1, I think. It was a cone and hold. Yeah, so...
Oh, the big of the...
yeah, the wrecking ball hold.
Yeah, the wrecking ball hold.
Yeah. Just like, sorry to backtrack real quick, but that wrecking ball hold, it's a little different. Like Giants Live, it's double overhand, and it's like a closer grip. This almost looked like an easy bar, and they allowed a mixed. And I think it was a little heavier than usual. I don't remember the weight, but it's in kilos, so I don't know what it is. I don't want to know. I don't even ask. Like at the loading med at the end, I don't know the weights, but yeah, that was difficult because it's a pain event. Like the easy bar had knurling, of course, and then it was freezing. So
yeah,
and then they had it so a lot of times when you're doing wrecking ball, you can bend your legs, so you can kind of like use your legs as like a hook grip. We had to keep our legs straight. So it was just all pain. I came off of that. I think I got second there. I think Andrea won that.
He has monster grip.
Yeah. And man, I like went back. They had this little athlete room that was warm. I wouldn't have been able to complete the show without that, by the way. I spent the whole time in the in the warming room, but I had my hands like on the heater because the thing was freezing. My hands were killing me from just the cold alone.
What came after the deadlift then?
After deadlift.
Are you at the medley at that point?
That was the
bag toss.
Yeah.
The thing that you went and practice.
Yes, that's the problem there. That's usually one of my best events. And I hadn't been doing it. So I still had like the patterns were there, but there's so much timing and accuracy involved in that event that just comes with like reps. Like when I'm doing good with bag toss, I'm doing it probably twice a week at least. And when I really want to dial it in, I'll do every workout. I'll do some. It doesn't really take a lot out of you, you know?
Yeah.
So you just drilling it. Because people are so good at it now. It comes down to like fraction of a second. So you need like your transition time. Like you got to think about every detail with that.
Yeah, one of the most eye-opening moments for me was watching in a competition against Žydrūnas, watching how meticulously precise he is when he throws over the bar. There wasn't a single wasted movement. It was grabbing the keg, throwing it up, and already he was walking to the next one. There was no extra step. There was no aligning or making sure you're in the right spot. It was just one after the other after the other. That was impressive to see. So yeah, that little transition time is oftentimes when everyone is on the same board of strength, the transition time is what wins you the events usually.
So you don't want to sit there and see if it went over.
Yeah, no, you're just throwing.
Yeah.
And hoping that it did.
That's one of the funnest things I think about now with strongman. Like I feel like I hit, and probably most people feel this way, but you hit a certain level of strongman where it almost starts to feel again like a sport. Like when you're newer in the sport, you're training just to not lose, and you're just training not to zero. So like the weights are really, really, really challenging for you, and your whole training cycle is getting strong enough to do the show. Now it's kind of like you're drilling. It's like you're practicing events rather than exclusively being like, hopefully I can do this, you know?
Yeah, I know this is where the podcast stops and the ad starts, and most of you guys just want to skip ahead. But hang on, because this one actually matters to me. You all know who John Meadows was. John and I were very close friends. So I'm proud to partner with Granite, which was his company. The principles and values that he had as a person, he instilled into the company. The Meadows whey protein, it's just simply whey. The way that I use that is right after training because I want it to digest faster. I want it to get into my system faster. The other product is creatine, which is like a no-brainer at this point. Everybody should use creatine. Even if they don't train, everybody should be using creatine just for the neural benefits associated with that. Right now, you can get 10% off with code TABLETALK at granitenutrition.com. If you've ever respected John, this is how we keep his legacy alive.
And that's when it's fun. Like I've seen guys on the bag toss, they'll throw it and they're landing. He's a lightweight down in Texas, but he lands on one foot and he's already stepping to the bags again. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
So where were you then placed wise after the bags?
I was still in first, but the bags, I think I got maybe fourth or fifth. It was just my spacing was off. Like I started doing, when you're really good at bag toss, you don't wait and look for it to go over. You know it went over. So I was checking, like you lose those seconds making sure they went over because we're in the snow So I would run and get the bag and slide. And then I run back to where I'm going to throw it from. And you couldn't really get the same leg drive. So it was kind of just a lower back thing. Like you're just hucking it. Yeah, so a lot of it was really unusual for me. I still put it together and hit all the bags, but it was nowhere near what I'm capable of if I were to train it. But hey.
Imagine you're also holding back, trying not to slip on the throw.
Yeah, like just don't.
Not a fun experience.
Well, because this weird thing can happen when you have a pretty good point spread in strongman, where you'll have these events where you're just doing damage control, and sometimes. Like you're just trying to maintain your lead and you get in your own head because you'd be like, don't make any mistakes. And then of course.
Yeah, then you start making a mistake.
Every single mistake that you've ever done ever.
Yeah, people come up to you and they're like, all you need to do is don't do anything.
Yeah, don't screw up.
Now I'm done. Yeah. So but we did it. We got through it. You know, it wasn't my best, but I was still in first and I had pretty good points. And then it started to tighten up, like the giant from Holland, you know, was catching me, man. Because he had 2 event wins in day 2, I think. And Kevin.
Yeah, what was it? Not the truck boat.
I think he won bag toss. And
bag toss. That was a big improvement for him. He's been drilling that a lot.
Oh, and then he won. Yeah, so we went into the loading. I kind of like gave it away, but so he won the bag toss, and then him and Pat were starting to catch me a little bit. And I knew after the bag toss, I'm like, okay, this is a possibility for sure. But Kevin would have to get first, which could totally happen. And I would have to get below 7th in the loading event to keep my lead, which could happen. You know, like it's crazy in Champions League, especially when the bags aren't like crazy heavy. Like I said, I don't know what they weighed, but it's like you could have a really good time. You think you did well and you're in 8th, you know, forget it if you drop something, you know? So I felt being like, oh, you just don't have to get 7th. Like that's actually a lot of pressure. You know what I mean? In a loading event in Finland. So, and we had to do it in boots. Like I brought my trainers because I'm like, oh, I'll switch to these, you know, but like, and of course, I don't have any issue with this. The boots sponsored the show, so we had to do the loading event in this. And the boots were on the stage, not in the snow. But I appreciate that sponsor, so no issue there. The boots are super nice. We got to keep them, and I looked at
your first pair of boots in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's my only pair of boots. But they're like those are like $400 USD. They're nice. So, but yeah, we had to do that in the boots, so that was interesting.
What came after that?
That was it. So Kevin won the event. So he did.
Loading race,
Yeah, but I think I got 3rd. It was insane. It was like Kevin and then Peter from Hungary, and him and I think we were 0.18 seconds off.
Yeah.
That's how ridiculous it can get.
How did that make you feel after winning that?
Pretty good. That was my first Champions League win, my first international win. I wasn't expecting it, you know what I mean? Like I was really worried about the show, and I forgot another detail. I went to Italy a few weeks before that and did the Guinness record thing. I can talk about that now. That was like
posted the video.
Yeah. That was like a weird fever dream because I couldn't post about it or tell anyone. I went to Italy for like 4 days, did a wrecking ball hold.
Did this really cool thing.
Yeah,
Can't tell you.
Yeah. But that smashed me, dude. So that was 800 pounds wrecking ball hold, but we were allowed to use straps, and we held it for max time. So you can imagine just holding deadlift and walk out as long as you can. And it was crazy because usually I have like a buffer day when I do the travel. Like I get there and then I kind of have a day. We'll do like sponsor stuff and run around and like party and stuff. But this one we had to go do like costume and rehearsals and equipment testing, and I'm like shattered from the travel. You know, and I'm
no train to sleep on.
Bad shape. No. Yeah, I was in bad shape, and then we were just a long day in the studio, and then the following day we're back again, and they were so nice, you know, like they're setting it up the best they can, you know. But
the studio people, from my experience, also always fantastic.
They're amazing.
They take care of everything. Their cafeteria is amazing.
Yeah. It's like a compound in Italy that you're in. It's like 20 buildings. I might be exaggerating, but
that's about right. It's the biggest privately owned studio in Italy.
Yeah, you go through. It's like this big old gate. It looks like the Mexican border, and they like check everyone's IDs. It's like a big deal. I don't know what's going on in there, but and then we went back the next day, and same thing. It's like you try to warm up. We had a deadlift bar in the back, but we have to go out and do the intros and do the interviews, so you're pretty cold going into like a maxed event. And Patrick, as you can see, he's a better deadlifter than me. And it's funny because we're like the exact same size, like 6'3", 330, comparable deadlifts, his being slightly better. So it was a good group, or 2 people to compete in this. And man, it was a push.
Like, was it a full pull before the hold?
Like a half.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're standing on a very tall platform. For me, that's already
it swings
a big negative.
It kind of pulls you. It spins. It pulls you a little bit. It's like it doesn't. You wouldn't even notice it, but you feel it. And that was pretty insane. You like you almost have to do. I know you've never done it, but like when you're doing the yoke, for example. It's like if you're kind of taking your breaths in a certain way. What do you think? Like you're staying full. You don't really let it compress.
You have to learn to brace and breathe at the same time.
So you had to do almost like yoke breathing with it because it's so much weight and it's just crushing you. And what would happen is over time, the more you lose your position, the less you can breathe.
Yeah, the more your ribs drop.
Yeah. So now you're just in this horrible position. And I'm just like looking out the corner of my eye at Patrick like, please drop.
Yeah.
And same thing. I didn't train this at all. I did like 2 lifts because I had so much stuff going on and I didn't know how to train it. Like I didn't want to destroy anything because I'm like, should I load up a belt squat and hold it? I don't want to destroy it.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was like holding a barbell at lockout just maybe 2-3 times. And even then it was like the weight wasn't below me the way it would be with the wrecking ball. It's like out in front of me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this easier? Is it harder? I didn't really know.
Yeah.
So But I'm like, man,
So where's your grip with the wrecking ball then? It's going to be in closer, which is going to make it harder to actually breathe.
Yeah. And you're not like, your shoulders aren't set the way you want. You're a little bit in, you know, like you're kind of rolled forward. It's just a wacky event. It's hard. Like after we finished, I told Marcel, I'm like, never put that in the show, please. I wasn't right for like 2 weeks after that. I was on the plane, like coming home, just worried of like, I was fine, but I'm like, I better stay hydrated. Like, I don't want anything weird to happen because I'm like crunched up after killing my back like that. But yeah, so that was before Finland too. So it was, that's what it was. It was move to Atlanta, go to my sales meeting for a week, and then I was straight to Italy the following week. And then Finland was a few weeks later. So it was a busy time. But we got it done. It felt good. Sorry for that crazy tangent, but
Grant, he is a bit spontaneous. I remember I was on the phone with him when he was just getting the new job in Atlanta, moving down there. He's like, they gave me 3 weeks to move there and like set up. I decided I'll go there right away today. Sure, okay. That is exactly what everyone and anyone would do. They would take the first day out of the 3 weeks and set it all up right away.
Europeans don't realize, like in America, if you move across the country, that's like moving from like the UK to Italy. You know, like you're moving pretty far, you know. Culturally, it's different. The taxes, the laws, everything is different. So, but I'm happy there.
What prompted the move? I mean,
just work.
Yeah.
My last job was going through a merger, and I was just like, I'm just going to get out before like heads start rolling. Turns out that's all done now. I actually still would have had my job, but I wanted to move to the South anyway. I was just done with Boston, you know, like my commute was like over an hour a day each way, and it's cold. I didn't want to do it.
And your lack of winter clothes.
It's cold. It's cold. So he ends up moving to Atlanta, then going to
I'm just traveling to cold places. I'm like, I was trying to get away from this, you know. So I love Finland though.
So how'd this whole strongman thing start for you?
It's kind of funny, man. It's been like a weird journey. I started young with Muay Thai, like really young. At least at the time. I know people start younger now, but this is like the early 2000s. And
how old were you?
Maybe 14.
Okay.
I think. And I was like a crazy kid, so I'm like, I want to fight. You know, and my coach like train for a year at least first. And also, there's no kids that do this, so you better lift weights. Because you're going to be training with men. You know, like we'd be like grappling and sparring and whatever, and it's like me. I'm like a 14-year-old kid. And my training partner is like someone like me now, like Massachusetts State Police.
Yeah.
I remember just going to bed, like my ears hurt so bad for like I could just only lay on my back, you know, stuff like that. But
now, before that, did you have any sport experience growing up?
A little bit of hockey and stuff, BMX and skateboarding. Yeah, no, I didn't play sports in high school, just Muay Thai and my BMX. But yeah, he told me, he's like, you need a double bodyweight deadlift. And I was like, okay, what's that?
What's a deadlift?
But that's kind of what got it started, because then I started deadlifting when I was young, and you know, Muay Thai was super fun, but I was like a really messed up kid, and I was in trouble all the time. And I moved out of my parents' house like pretty young for a period when I was like 18. And I just couldn't really hold it together. Like I took like a Muay Thai smoker, and I like barely made weight. I didn't know how to cut weight back then. I almost killed myself. I cut like 30 pounds in like 24 hours.
How what'd you weigh?
Oh man, I had to get down to 205. That was the other problem. I kept getting bigger. And like
it happens when you're adolescence.
I kept getting bigger. I was like, man, I gotta lose. Like every time I stopped lifting weights, I would just like swing kettlebells. I'd still get bigger. I'm like, so I ended up like 235, and I didn't want to fight. Like I still knew I wanted to be light heavyweight. I think it was 205 in Muay Thai, and because I saw the open guys, and it's like all these huge like juice head adults. I'm like, no way, bro. So once that cut started becoming more unrealistic, and I took that smoker, and I couldn't fight after the first round. I just kind of like cardio tapped, because I think I was almost in like kidney failure. To be it was weigh-ins was like an hour before, and not for nothing. They kind of screwed me there. They're like, I was like, if you know Boston, like I was running this is a long time ago. It's all good if you hear this somehow, if you're running. But like, I was way over. First of all, I was like 6 pounds over when I walked in there. It was terrible. And I put on all these jackets and I ran from Central Square in Cambridge, like all the way over into Boston, like by Newbury Street. If you know Boston, it's pretty far. And I was just doing that over and over and over, jumping rope, like trying to get those last few pounds off because I didn't know what I was doing. We didn't have sweat sticks and sauna suits. Like I was like, I'm just going to keep moving with this jacket on. And I got down. I think I was still 1 pound over and they were like, all right, fine. But they let me kill myself. And then the other guy didn't make weight.
No.
It was a smoker, like it's like an unsanctioned fight, you know. And I came out in the first round and I just was throwing bombs because I'm like, I know I can't finish the fight from what I did to myself. And I almost couldn't get out of the corner in the second round and my calves cramped, both of them at the same time. So I was like stuck on my toes and he was just punching me and I was like, this is terrible, like this isn't gonna work. So I was like, first of all, I'm never cutting weight again. So that's why I'm in the open class in Strongman. And after that, I just started kind of, like I said, like either way, I was like getting in legal problems. Like I was in all kind of trouble at the time. I just couldn't hold it together. So I started getting more into the gym in general. And of course, the brain damage is a concern. I don't need any more of that. But once
we can do our own perfectly fine.
Yeah. But after that, just the weights kind of helped a lot. Like because the more I got into that, the more I needed a routine. And then I stopped going out as much. And I just started getting really focused on, I wanted results there. And it just kind of cleaned up my life for me. And then after that, I got a dog and that helped too. You know, I'm like, if I look something in the eyes that like relies on me to be alive, I clean up my eggs, you know? So that's kind of how, and then Strongman, I got to get to Strongman. I started doing CrossFit because.
How's the dog help?
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like I owed it to him to like.
Not be in jail overnight so the dog can at least be fed.
Exactly. Yeah. So that fixed everything right away. First. Really did. Yeah. Yeah, so
being responsible for something else alive than yourself.
Because I didn't care about myself. I care about him. You know what I mean? I'll do anything. Like you see, I'll sleep on a train. Yeah. I don't need a house. I don't need anything.
So what we're saying is we could have had an entirely different series of John Wicks.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
We got spared that.
Yeah. Or we don't know because the story's still going. Did somebody take out your dog?
Then you're in trouble. You mess with my dogs, you're in trouble. I'll tell you that.
All right, so you get the dog, and then the dog helps with your training.
Yeah, because I started like focusing on I had a schedule, and then CrossFit. I tried to do it because it felt like I liked cardio, you know, and it felt like the fight cardio. So.
Well, the BMX as well, right?
Yeah.
So if you're doing that racing, you have that.
That kind of fell by the wayside too over time. Because as I got bigger, that became kind of ridiculous.
I was going to ask you, how's that going?
It's too big, you know? It's good, but you know what? I just destroy the bikes.
Yeah.
But then CrossFit, same thing. I kept getting bigger. I'm just like doing CrossFit and I'm gaining weight. All of a sudden I'm 250, 255, 260. And like all the top CrossFit guys, like when I do stuff, I like to like go nuts with it. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to be good at this. So I got to move on. Like, it's just, I got to be realistic here. It doesn't matter how much I like to do it. I'm not going to be the best at it. And then I started going to a powerlifting gym in Billerica, and there was this guy, Scott, and he was like, oh, you got to try Highland Games. You know, it's so fun. Yeah. Like, I love the guy. He's like, sign up for this thing. I'll be there too. I'm like, all right. And I didn't train for it at all. You know, he's like, I'll show you how to do it. And I go, and he didn't go.
Oh, God.
Sounds like a recurring theme.
Yeah. So now I'm here. And luckily, like, all these guys were so cool. Like, they showed me how to do all the events. And I ended up tying for first. And I'm like, all right. But it was like a Highlander, so it was half Strongman, half Highland Games. And I was much better at the Strongman. So then I started getting into that. Like, what's up with that, you know? And we had a lot of equipment at the gym. I started messing with it. Did another show, no training.
So what did it look like when you say started messing with it? You know, are you trying to figure out how to train, or are you just going in there and just doing any type of shit you feel like doing?
I was like kind of figuring out training at the time because like CrossFit introduced me to Olympic lifting, and then I learned about more like periodization and all that. And so I was kind of like backing it into there, but it was still pretty random. I just didn't know, like the way I pictured strongmen at the time, they were way bigger than me. Like I was like 265, 6'3".
You never think you can do it.
Yeah,
That's actually do it.
Exactly. I didn't see that for me at all. So it was just like a fun thing to touch here and there. And yeah, I ended up, I just do things like you said. So I just signed up for another competition. It was at Derek Poundstone's gym when he used to have that down in Connecticut. And it was kind of the same thing. Like I got up to the line for the loading event, and I was in the novice category. And I asked the referee, like, how do I pick up the bag? He's like, what are you talking about? It's like, I've never done this before. It's like, okay. Well, I won that too. I mean, it's novice, but
yeah,
still. So I'm like, all right, maybe we got something here. And
so during this phase, where were you working? What were you doing outside of that?
God, I was a disaster at the time. I still didn't have my life together in that way. Like no career, no nothing. I was like working in the gym part-time, had nothing going for me. I was a disaster, man. It took a long time for me to.
Yeah.
I was a late bloomer for sure. Yeah. So that was kind of the issue.
So was training the number one thing, and then everything else was supporting that, or just fucking around was the number one thing and training was just a part of that?
Yeah, I kind of had like one foot in each thing still, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was working my way out of being crazy, but I wasn't done with it yet. Yeah.
I know what I have to do, but
yeah, we're not there
just
yet.
not doing it.
Yeah. So I did a few more strongman competitions, and they all went really well. But I just couldn't afford it. Like I would qualify for nationals. I couldn't pay to go because this was my early 20s still. And it was just other things I saw going on where I'm like, I don't know, maybe this isn't for me. So I started, now I need to get a career. I started focusing on that. I was still in the gym, like messing with powerlifting and strongman, but not serious for a long time.
So when you realized you had to start trying to figure out what type of career, what steered you in the direction that you ended up in?
It's crazy there too. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like I looked at finance, I thought was cool, but I had no idea how to get in. Like my whole family was like blue collar. My dad's a firefighter. So a lot of the kids in my industry are kind of coached up. Like their parents did it. They told them what school to go to, all this stuff. And that's when the gym really helped, because it kind of tapped me in with all these new type of people. And I kind of got to see different sides of life a little bit, you know, and maybe be like, I want something else, you know? But yeah, it took a long time, man. I had to like get dragged through the mud in the industry at an age where you got to really swallow your ego, man, because it's like you're working alongside people a lot younger than you at like entry level jobs. But hey,
how'd you end up getting in?
Crazy, man. This is crazy. I was driving Uber on the weekends and I picked up this dude that had a DUI that worked in finance. And I told him I wanted to get into it, and I was back in school, like studying finance, and he helped me get an interview. And it was like 100% commission sales job. So they kind of hand those out.
Yeah.
Good luck. But I knew, I'm like, I have to make this work to some degree because this will get me in. And then everyone kind of knows.
Recurring Brian special, like, I want to try this out.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the other part of all this is it seems like once he gets into it, he's into it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not going to get into something and just do it half-ass.
Man, they were pretty gracious with me though, man. Like I didn't even know how to like wear a suit, you know what I mean? And this was before the pandemic, so this was suit times. But that was it. I just kind of had a few different jobs from there. I don't think any of these companies want me like naming them.
No, I get that.
But I had to work, and I had to really like, the ego will get in your way. So I had to keep reminding myself of that. You know, I didn't want to get in my own way. Like, I just have to do this. Like, fine, I'm working next to kids like 5-10 years younger than me, and I still am actually. But what's the other option? You know, I'm just a late bloomer. Like, it's like on paper, like my body is 34. On paper, I'm like 27.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I started late. So, but it's working out. You know, I'm really happy with what I'm doing now. So, but it was tough.
Would you say when you got into that compared to the others, you had an easier time learning from your mistakes because you kind of knew you didn't know shit about it? Where if somebody goes into it and they think they know everything and they make the mistake, they're going to be less willing to actually pivot and try to learn from that?
Yeah, it was kind of like training. Like, I'm like, I need to learn this. I just need to do reps.
Yeah.
You know, everything kind of like goes together with me. Like, I think of everything kind of the same way. So that's what it was. I'm like, I just need to get some reps in here.
So while this is going on, how does this correspond with your desire to want to get better in strongman? Because there's dabbling in it, and then there's that point where you're like, probably after you won the nationals, probably before that, to be honest, right? Because you got to be serious going, unless you just said, fuck it, I'm going to do the national, which could be true. That's and just see how it works. Was that the case?
I mean, well, that was weird too, man. So like there was, I prefer not to get too deep into it just because I have a hard time talking about it. But like my life was also really chaotic because my brother had like bad mental illness, and he ended up dying when I was like 28, and that just like really knocked the wind out of my sails in like every way. You know what I mean? And from there, I'm like, all right. I thought I knew depression, you know what I mean? And this was like a new thing. And I'm like, I need to get back into the stuff that I used to like when I was younger. So I'm like, I got to get back in the fight gyms. So I actually started doing jujitsu. And I was like loving that because it felt like Muay Thai. And like, shout out to all those guys, like Giancarlo. Like, I don't think they knew what was going on with me at that time, but that helped me a lot, man. Like, just getting back in there with them. And then they were into powerlifting, so we were training and then going to jiu-jitsu. And I had to pick. So that was going well. Then I started doing strongman again, but I was getting hurt so much doing jiu-jitsu.
And how big were you then when you went back? You had to be the heavyweight, right?
Yeah, 265.
265.
Yeah, I've always like fluctuated around there. And then, so I was trying to do strongman. Like I was competing and I was like, all these finger injuries. Like if you know jiu-jitsu, like your knees, I tore my LCL.
Like strongman and any martial art is almost an impossible mix.
Yeah. So I just had to choose. So I had to unfortunately let jiu-jitsu go and focus on strongman. And then that's when I met my wife, and she really helped me because she's like, all right, like you've been doing all this stuff like BMX, Muay Thai, like this, that, you name it. I've done it, and I've done it like as hard as I can, you know, but because I'm always switching what I'm doing, I didn't really, it's like I would like knock on the door of being really good at it and then do something else, you know, and that probably has to do with my absolutely insane ADHD, but
was it that, or did you think that you couldn't be the best that you could be, so you pulled back from it?
I think I just like find new interests. I think it's like once you think I'm sure you know, it's like once you look behind the curtain, it's like something seems like really awesome, and then you get to know it, and you're like,
well, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I say it's like the yellow brick road. Stay on the yellow brick road. Don't ever see what's behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's happy there with the Tin Man and the lion, and it's
a good story. Yeah.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
And anyhow, that's true with any sport, by the way.
So I'd hit that point and then be like, all right, let's do something else that's new and shiny. And
Yeah, I actually found that out recently with ADHD, that people with ADHD tend to find what they're really good at really quickly, not because they're somehow gifted or talented, but because we actually go through so many different things so quickly, and then just dropping it if we find we have no interest for it, that we actually find something that we're good at and stay with.
Yeah. So
that makes sense, because on the inverse side of that, you would have the people that are and having a no quit mentality is a good mentality.
And they'll spend 10 years trying to get
there's another side of that, to where whatever they start, they're not going to quit no matter what, because they're not a quitter. And then they end up, participating in some sport for decades, realizing they never liked it in the first place, and they weren't even good.
But they're only doing it because their parents told them to.
Yeah. So now you have the wife and the dog
2 dogs now.
Right. So you got 2 different eyes looking back at you.
Yeah. And she was like, you need to like push this. And I'm like, okay. And that's when I started. I think I did a local show, and same thing, I was still doing jiu-jitsu at the time. And I had my knee wasn't healed yet from the LCL, my finger, but I was able to like win in my category, and I got a nationals qualification. I went and did it in a subclass. I think it's like the now defunct minus 300 class. And I got 3rd, but I was like, all right, like I'm not there yet. And I took basically a year to train. And then I came back, what was that, 2 years ago now, 2023. And same thing, like I won a few locals in a row. And then
that's when Adrian told you to focus on it?
Yeah.
For Strongman.
For Strongman. Yeah. I won a few local shows in a row. And then I signed up for nationals, and I went down to Miami and like hurt my back deadlifting. Like 6 weeks out. I know you probably shouldn't go to Miami 6 weeks out. But you know, and I was like, didn't really train for a while. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just go do it, whatever. I wanted to see my friends and hang out, and then I ended up winning. And
so you went to the show 6 weeks prior to the show. Is that what you're saying?
I got hurt 6 weeks prior.
Okay.
Yeah, and it started healing, but it was still sore. But I went anyways. Like normally I would drop out, but I went anyways because I just wanted to see my friends. I haven't seen them in a while. I'm like, I would have too much FOMO just standing there. Like I got to just compete and lose. And I ended up winning. So it was cool. First open nationals. Won it. And then from there, it just went crazy. I just really leaned in. Within reason, of course. And I did, OSG was right after that. I did really bad there because I just like, it was like only a few weeks later. I was still jacked up from that show. You know how people's memory is though. They only remember the OSG. But then I went to the Arnold. I did okay there. I think I got 5th. And then I've just been doing Champions League.
You won the back toss event though there. Yeah,
you
were really good at that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just kind of taken off. I like appreciate Champions League so much because they just picked me up like right away. Like as soon as I started getting some momentum, they just took me over there, and I've just been sticking with them.
So at what point was it to where you realized this is what you really want to do? Or are you still not there yet?
Oh, I'm there, yeah.
Still figuring it out. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I got to do it in like a interesting way where I did it once already, you know? So it's almost like when you go to someone and you're like, if you were to do it all over again, how would you do it? You know, I kind of got to do that. So for me, it's just really enjoyable. Like my life was better with it in it. And then I tried life without it. And then I came back to it because life was like better with it in there.
So when you came back to it, what were some of the things that you changed? Because you just put the question out there, like if you could go back and do it all over again, what were some of the key things that you changed when you came back?
For me, it's just, I have like guardrails on it. You know, like I've seen a lot of people my first time around, and I'm sure if you've been around at all for any period of time, there's a lot of turnover in these sports, you know, and I saw why, you know, and a lot of it was people, like someone's probably said this a lot better than me, but I feel like these sports will only give you certain things, but they'll take as much as you want to get. It'll take your marriage, it'll take your career, it'll take your health, whatever you want. I'll take everything. Yeah, it'll take everything from you. So I saw that happen to a few people I really liked, and I'm like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I need like set guidelines I never deviate from ever. And that's basically just comes down to priorities. So it's just like family, career, then strongman, in that order, no matter.
I assume you're looking for ways to maximize your training. I'm Dave Tate from elitefts.com. I started EliteFTS in 1998 because there was a lack of training information online. 20 years later, we continue with that because we have over information of content online. So at EliteFTS, we filter that information down to be able to provide you with the best information you need as a strength athlete, coach, recreational lifter, or washed up meathead. Content's changed over the years. So we used to have tons of blogs, tons of articles and such. Now we have the Table Talk podcast, we have articles, we have ebooks, and we have webinars and all kinds of other information on the site. So head over to elitefts.com, click on the education tab, and you're gonna find more articles than you know what to do with, but use the search queue and you'll find what you need.
What, you know?
How did you because a lot of people in those situations will think that these items that we're talking about are necessary to be pulled away for them to be the best at what they are, right?
Yeah.
And it becomes part of it. Like, yeah, it's not a healthy sport. We all get that, right? That, you know, for me to be the best, fuck everything else.
I don't think there's any sport that's healthy at a high level.
There's not. But, I mean, all these inherently kind of get built in as ways to justify, you know, the excuses for all those things to actually go wrong.
Definitely.
Right. And they'll call it sacrifice, which it really isn't. Because to me, a sacrifice is what other people make for you to actually do something, not what you do yourself.
To do the thing you want to do.
To do the thing you want to do. Like, how's that a sacrifice? You know, it's a choice. It's a choice, you know? And so with those, you see what I'm saying? It's rare for somebody that's only been doing it committedly to the level that you are to have that mindset in this short period of time.
Yeah, I think just coming back, the amount of success I've had, it just happened to happen. You know, like I was coming back to it, like I just really love to do this, and I was okay with doing local shows forever. You know, but I'm like, whatever level of success, like I'm not going to say no to anything. So whatever level of success comes along with this, within these guardrails, I'll take it. You know. And not for nothing, like once you zoom out a little bit, it doesn't take up that much of your time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what do I train? Like maybe 2 of the workouts are 3-4 hours. The other ones are 2. You know, it's like 8 hours a week. You know,
when you zoom out and you kind of look at the guardrails, you know, a good family support system is
key.
Is huge.
Yeah. It's everything.
Right. Compare that to arguing with your significant other every single time you come home because of food bills or whatever it's going to be. Keeping your health in check to be able to actually recover from the training is super important. Yep. But as I said earlier, a lot of strength athletes, they don't learn that until the health suffers or the divorce happens.
Yeah.
And once again, it doesn't have to be a sacrifice. It can be a choice that you're choosing to prioritize the family and the better environment overall that will benefit you long term.
Yeah, but they think they're all in, but they're not.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And they don't realize what it takes to be all in until they have all those things in place, you know, with that.
I'm really fortunate in that way. Like, I feel like I got... because of doing it, and then I was still like adjacent, like I knew a lot of people doing it and I still watched it, so I got a lot of, I didn't have to learn this stuff the hard way. I watched other people do it, so I came back with a lot of perspective for myself. And
it's everywhere. Like if any strength athlete looks at anybody that's competing at the same level they are, they're seeing it right in front of their face. Everywhere.
There's no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean? It's just good times, like having weird times with your friends. You know, that's why I do it, at least, and it gives me that.
Was there anything from because those are key, those are the key variables. Were there anything training wise that you changed?
Yeah. I train, it's not as hard as people would think. You know what I mean? It's hard to describe it. It's like I'm looking for, like, now I think of it almost like finance, maybe because I work in finance, but it's like I want like risk adjusted returns. You know, like I want to get as much as I can while mitigating risk and like my mileage. Like I think of when you're training really psychotically all the time, it's almost like a boxer that spars really hard all the time. It's like they leave their whole career in the gym. You know, it's like I just want to peak for the show. And like people might look at my Instagram and be like, he's not even that strong. You know, but I don't lift that heavy. Like I always see guys at shows and they're like, you lift so light all the time. I'm like, I mean, I'm getting better, you know? So why would I change it?
Well, I like the financial comparison because it's like taking all your money and throwing it into a high risk day trade.
Exactly. I don't want a lot of volatility. I want like a steady eddy. Like I want to go up over time. Like, and then I think like volatility, like you were saying, like volatility in your portfolio is the same as volatility in the gym. If your recovery is all over the map, and you know, when you're an athlete, when you're having a hard time in the gym missing lifts, it's really hard on you mentally too. And then the gym can become a negative thing, and you know, you're trying to like summon demons to hit these lifts, you know, and it's like there's a time and a place for that for sure, but it can't be every workout. Yeah. So it's like there's a ratio. We have all kinds of ratios in finance. It's like price to earnings, price to book, Sharp ratio. But there's one, the Sortino ratio. It's like less reference, but I feel like that goes for this stuff more. And like a funny way, like talking about AI earlier, like AI spit this out to me when I was like, how can I explain this? So
Yeah.
because the math for it looks like hieroglyphics, you know, but essentially what you're looking at is like, if you have two coaches or let's call the coaches bakers, you know, you have two bakers, they both make killer cookies, you know, but one baker burns them all the time. When they're good, they're really good, but he burns a lot of cookies, you know? And then there's another coach where it's like, maybe his best cookies aren't as good as his best cookies, but his are always good, you know? So that's more, I want like the good Sortino ratio. I want good downside capture.
More consistent cookie sales.
Yeah, I want better cookies all the time.
But that's what wins competitions more often, being consistent through all the events and performance and health and recovery. It's not the guy that can do one event really well and suck at all of them.
So that's the biggest difference. The way I trained when I was younger, I mean, you're young, you know, I was just spazzing out.
Well, you can
doing more harm than good, probably.
That's a tricky one though, because you can get away with it because you're young, right? And I don't know if it's necessary or not necessary. You know, you don't want to be the old guy, you know, saying don't do that shit. When everybody I know did, everybody. You know, but also everybody that I know did that's still around, it's like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But do you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can tell you, I feel it. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you feel it later.
Yeah, I feel it now.
But, you know, there could be certain things that you learn from that, that you can get away when you're younger. Like you jack your back up and you're 18 years old. A week later.
Sleep on the floor or something.
Yeah, a week later, you're fine. Yeah. And you're like, ooh, maybe I shouldn't, after the third time, like maybe I shouldn't do that anymore. Then you fix it where you do that dumb shit when you're older, then you're out 6 weeks trying to figure out how to go to the Nationals, you know, because of that whole thing.
That's a great point.
And interestingly, Brian does all his own programming coaching, right?
Yeah, self-coaching.
So he's one of the few athletes that actually does all his own programming for all this.
So when you have a decent off season, which now is almost impossible for you at the level that you're at, but assuming that you could, you know, have 4 months of no competitions, how would you lay your training out for that?
I'd probably pull the events out for a couple months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. Like that's the first thing, like the events come out and then it's really just focusing on like the main lifts, and almost like borderline powerlifting. And
what would be the main lifts you'd focus on?
Like the way I think of it is like, I always like deconstruct everything I do to like the maximum degree. So it's like, what is strongman really, you know, and then how do the points work? So it's like, okay. And someone may have already said this, but like, there's like a hinge, there's like patterns, right? It's like a hinging pattern. There's a pressing, an overhead press. And then there's like squatting, like depending on how you're cleaning something, right? And then there's like overlays, right? So now I have my base. So that's what I work on in the off season, is those 3 things. And then hypertrophy, like it always helps to get bigger. And then as the season comes back in, then you start adding like the strongman overlays to it, right? So like what would that be? It's like, okay, there's an agility component. There's a speed, there's an accuracy, there's, you know, there's a lot of technical stuff, and you just start layering that in over time.
So when that gets layered in over time, is there anything that's coming out? Obviously there will be if you're 2 weeks out and stuff like that, but before what we would call peak time or whatever that is, you can just keep stacking shit on top of stuff, right? And if your work capacity is able to handle that, you can get away with it for a certain period of time.
That's the goal.
So that is
kind
part
of
of
becomes like a grind for a period.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I back off again.
So that off-season period is also trying to increase the work capacity for you to be able to put that next layer on top of it without having to pull way back on the compounds.
Exactly.
Right? Because that's what some people will do, is they'll just block that, and then some of the compounds come out and it gets filled, you know, with those other things in there. But I often wonder when they do that, you know, did they not build are they doing that because they didn't build the work capacity to be able to go? You sit it to that next level, and how much strength are they going to lose when they pull those things out and then they get too deep into specificity? And then you end up having some event that is pure strength. And then you're like pissed, right? Because it shouldn't have felt that heavy.
Yeah.
especially for us, because we compete so often.
Yeah.
It's like, when is there a time that you can really pull anything out, you know?
Yeah.
And
especially when we don't even know the events.
yeah.
Well, that becomes the next question. Then how do you manage it when it's competition after competition after competition, and it is more skill based, but you still have to keep that absolute strength up? How do you manage that one?
That's kind of the tricky part. Like for me,
You think?
yeah, I have I have a lot of like contrarian views, so I don't want necessarily people to like get mad at me for any of this. This is my personal
No, so I'm
opinions.
asking
Yeah,
you what
yeah.
works for you.
Yeah, like for
That's
me,
what we do here, live, learn, and pass on.
yeah, like for me, I just don't think you get weaker that fast. I think you can make yourself weak on competition day by training too much, but I think for me to get weaker, I'd have to starve and like not sleep for like months. So I'm never worried about losing too much strength. So I don't really like, I take my time, even if I have a show close soon after, because every time I've got like dinged up, it's right after the show. So like no matter how close the next one is, the next week's 60%. You know, I do the show 60% next week every time, you know, and then it's 70, 80, 60, 90, whatever I do. And then for me, I never was like, I've always been strong, but I'm more like athlete strong. I feel like I was meant for like football, you know? So like, I'm always working on the strength, you know, so I can never really pull that out. Like I got to we call them like, at least people I know, we call them static strength to like powerlifting.
Yeah.
That's always in for me.
Well, I get where you're coming from, because in strongman, your goal isn't what you can build your best 1 RM in a squat, deadlift, or overhead press. To a degree, kind of, but not to that level, right? So it's easier if it was just pure block training. You can go like 4 or 6 weeks and not lose from that 90%. Let's say if you push those things and just focused on those things, and you did a whole training series just for your deadlift or your overhead, nothing else, it would probably be 10% higher.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have, your recovery is going to be better to be able to put into all that. So it's already compromised because it's strongman, and that's fine because you don't compete in fucking powerlifting and stuff like that. So it's already there. What will drop faster though for you guys would be that strength endurance,
Especially the endurance and
athleticism. Yes, but you don't need it all the time. You get what I'm saying? So how do you keep that one in there? Because that one you probably could get away. Everybody's different. You could probably get away for maybe 2-3 weeks, and not really feel any detrimental effects. You get away for 4-6 weeks, it's going to be like, fuck, these steps are killing me anymore.
That's exactly.
The difference also, and specifically with endurance and athleticism, that a lot of people don't appreciate, and this comes up so often, especially with the beginner strongman, until they realize they have to do it. And the question is, yeah, but it's only 1 lift, or it's only 5 lifts. It's only 30 seconds or 60 seconds of work. Sure, that's fine. You don't need all that cardio and endurance for that. But those same people are then huffing and puffing away in between events, and they cannot recover until the next event.
Yeah.
And someone with a lot of endurance and athleticism, he's good to go right away. Like you give him 2-minute notice and, all right, let's do it. Throw me in. So that is a very big advantage that you can have just for recovery's sake alone, just having that base of endurance that you need to keep on.
I mean, the ability to circulate blood is kind of important.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's probably 2 weeks. Like after the show, I won't push it for like 2 weeks, really.
So you kind of have an idea on how long it takes for each one of these motor abilities to actually drop.
Yeah.
And then what you have to sprinkle in to keep it maintained.
Yep.
Right. And then what you have to put in there to build it. Right. And then that just gets played out over the year.
And a lot of stuff is similar. So it's like, if you don't know what you have coming up, you can kind of cover your bases and like shift events in and out. Like a stone lifting pattern and a sandbag lifting pattern are pretty similar, if not exactly the same. You know, a log
heavier
press.
maybe.
Yeah. A log press and axle press, like it's a lot of the same patterns, right? So it's like, as long as you're maintaining one, the other ones should be okay. Like you kind of get to a point where it's like rising tide lifts all boats. So it's like, as long as you're in there training in these specific patterns, and like you're saying, like I don't know what the right way to put it is, but these time domains that you're working within at a maximum effort, as long as that's in there, you should be okay. You know, you might not, that's kind of the difference. Like people asked me, like I didn't do OSG last year, even though I was qualified, just because I was smashed. Like I did I did Africa, and then the week later was Turkey. Like I flew from Africa to Turkey to compete again. I didn't even come home. And people were like, how do you think you would have done? And I'm like, did I train for 12 weeks or did I show up? Or would it be the hypothetical situation if I just showed up? You know, because it does make a huge difference. Like these shows where guys have events like way out ahead of time, their performance versus ours when we have like 2-3 weeks, if that, to prepare. It's just a different thing, you know? It's kind of almost like apples to oranges, really. It's hard to compare. Like we're trying to be ready for anything all the time and like maintaining this level. And Casey's like, you know, you get these WhatsApp messages like, hey, are you keen on Poland in 2 weeks? And it's like, yeah.
I mean, I've had it where I did a competition and Marcel would text me. It's like, hey, are you available this next week for this one? I'm like, sure, I'm here. I don't even go like home or anywhere between. I fly straight to the next competition. So you're just ready. I
love that about it. Other people don't. Like guys like to have their training cycles. Like for me, I'm like, I don't know, I'm ready. Let's do it. You know?
Even with that, though, do you try to build in, you know, a few months each year to not have that? There's
always like a plan. Yeah. You know, and then ideally it's just structured in a way where I can just insert an event. So it's almost like, I think of competitions as more like a heavy training day. So like if I only have 3 weeks, that's a 4-week block, you know? And that's it. We'll just set up a 4-week block. And that's my, like, I have the way my training is very simple. So I have like somewhere in the 70% week 1, somewhere in the 80% week 2, somewhere in the 60s week 3. That's like my deload. And then I'll be somewhere in the 90s for week 4. So that's my 90 plus week. And I'll train that week 2. Because that's like you were saying, like holding on to that work capacity. If I were to deload for every show every year, I would be training like only half the year. So we have to train through shows. So you kind of have to plan for that and like figure out what lifts you can do the week of the show that won't impact you too much, and just be okay with like when you get me in Europe, like me in Europe is 90% of me already. Like, because I'm like, think about a perfect peak week. Does that involve not sleeping? Tired? Does that involve traveling for 24 hours, 2 days out, you know, and then like sleeping in a hotel room for like 3.5? Like, good example is for Ilya and I, when you're here, I know you're out and about quite a bit, but it's like a 7-hour time difference. So for me, if they tell me to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's like me getting up to go compete at 1 o'clock in the morning here, you know? So you're going to be groggy. You're going to be feeling bad. It's just part of it. So it's like, I just want to show up as healthy and strong as I can within reason with the amount of notice I have. And then it's really mental. Like you got to just turn it on. I think it kind of unlocked for me how much I can just do mentally. Like, cause it's only 90 seconds, a minute. Like that's what Marcel used to say. He's like,
it's only 90 seconds of suffering.
You're competing for 6 minutes tomorrow. You'll be fine. You know,
I mean, everything that leads up to it, but in reality, you're just competing for 6 minutes.
I really think like when you have the crowd and you have your friends and you're head to head in the heat, you know, it's like I could be in rough shape and get a PR on something just because of the environment. So I think like you got to like get that out of your head that you need perfect conditions to do well in the gym. You know, it's like for a competition, you just show up and get your mind right and do it. Make sure you're hydrated.
Well, yeah, hydrated. The 90 seconds is an interesting thing because it can literally be like, look, you can screw up any other time, but just don't screw up during this 90 seconds. But after the 90 seconds, you need to be able to shut down, you know, completely shut down. So you're just not mentally at that heightened state for a whole day. Right? Because then you're just screwed come day 2.
Yeah.
You know, so what do you use to be able to shut down after that event?
I just go out.
Just go out. What does that mean? I just go to the bar.
You know, not too much detail. But I just like, for me, because it's actually perfect because of the weird time difference. Like, I'm not going to be able to sleep until 3, 4, 5 in the morning anyway. So why would I just be sitting in my room thinking about the competition? I'd rather just be out. You know, so I'll just go out, hang out with people, have fun, go back to my room, go to bed. I never even thought about the competition, you know, as long as you're eating and drinking water, you know, I feel good. Like I tried not doing that and I was worse.
Well, I can see that because it's based upon what you've said so far, right? Being out, partying.
I might be an anomaly.
Well, not really, because you're kind of programmed that's where you relax, right? And if you're out talking to other people, you're not in your own head.
Exactly.
If you're in your room by yourself, then that could be a disaster.
The mental part of it is massive.
Then you're just in your own head, like, fuck, I can't sleep. I'm not recovered. My back's jacked up. It's just this and to reframe that, you can do it. It's probably going to be really hard for you where you could just go out and talk to other people.
Right.
And then you're not in
a few beers. Yeah. I swear, man. I swear. It's true. It's like exactly that. You want to, because then you're in your room, you're stuck in fifth gear. You're thinking through the events. Oh, I messed this up. I messed that up. What am I going to do tomorrow? You start visualizing the events the next day. You're losing your.
Where did I mess up, or what can I fix?
Losing your mind. It's like, go hang out with your friends. Yeah. Come back tomorrow and see what, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Also, I'm sure you got like 9 things other people have told you need to work on during that day that you'll go back that night and start processing all that shit.
Yeah, it's a disaster. And you can tell who does it too. It's sad. It's like, man, just come hang out with us,
There's a certain magic about not having any expectation going into a competition. Like, obviously you've prepared to the best of your ability, but going into it not having an expectation that this is what I must do and this is how I must perform, but just letting it happen and doing your best at it. And then sometimes you end up doing way better than you ever expected.
Yeah, one event at a time.
Yep.
So how do you go about the nutrition end?
It's a lot of eggs and rice, beef and rice, chicken and rice, kind of like, and then I've been trying to eat more junk food, as ridiculous as that sounds.
On top of the other crap.
Yeah, because I'm not a big eater. And it's not like crazy junk food. Like, I'm not eating McDonald's all the time, but it's just not, it might be like pizza. Like, I just need more calorie dense stuff because I don't eat like other people do. You know what I mean? It's hard for me. So, and my schedule's crazy. Like, I'm in the office 5 days a week. I train in the middle of the night. So I sleep on average like 5 or 6 hours max. So I get up early. I don't eat breakfast. So I skip breakfast. I go to the office. I'll eat like a couple like peanut butter bars or whatever they are, like protein bars. And then I'll eat lunch, chicken and rice after that. Snacks, like I only eat really twice a day, 2-3 times a day, and I only sleep 5 or 6 hours a night. So it's not like the best athlete lifestyle, but it just is. That's my life. Like that's what I got,
That's what works for you.
Yeah. And like for me, training is a habit. Like I don't have to like think about it all the time. I go because I just go, I go when I can, and I'm doing strongman because I love to do it. So it's like, that's just what I want to do. If I'm in the gym doing deadlifts at midnight and I have to be in the office the next day, like I love to be there. Like I'm happy. I'm good, And
you're recovering from session to session.
Yeah. Yeah. Like for me, I don't have time for like all this recovery stuff that people do. So if I can't, I just pull back the volume. Like if I can't recover the way I am, I can't do all this like recovery voodoo. I just need to do like one less set. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that's all it is for me. It's kind of nice when you don't have any options. It's like I'm just doing what I can do.
Well, I think that's an important point because you can push the volume higher, but then to be able to recover from that, you're going to have to find a way to get more sleep and more food. And if those are not possible because of the work schedule, then there are other levers.
Yeah.
You just drop the volume until it comes back up.
And you don't need as much as you think you do. You know what I mean? Especially when you're a big guy. I feel like smaller people and women, they need a lot more volume than us. Like I think sometimes we'll overdo it. Like if you're an open guy on a middleweight program, you're in trouble. That's what I think, at least.
So you're trying to figure out the minimum volume that you need to be able to progress.
Exactly.
Both being at the heavier end of the weight range and also on the upper level of the sport. The higher up you're there, the less volume you generally require. And I found that out for myself.
Well, the loads are higher.
The loads are higher. Like, it might be relatively the same between me and a normal guy, but I mean, 800 pounds is 800 pounds, whichever way you look at it. And the body is only designed to handle so much. So being able to pull that off, I need way less work at that weight range.
Yeah. And I think some people, it's a trap you can fall into where, we all want to get better, and more
You think doing more will give you more? Yeah.
These sports are weird, man. Like if I wanted to get good at ping pong, I would just play ping pong all day. You know what I mean? And just do like thousands of reps, but that's not how it works for us. It's like we can only train so much. And then that's why I'm like, when people are like, oh, I can't have a life outside of strongman, I'm like, how? Like, it doesn't take that much time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it takes a lot. Like I'm not taking away from it at all, like anybody's effort, but it's during this, we don't have to be on these like severe extreme, like bodybuilding is like your diet around the clock. Like for us, not so much. So we need high effort and pain tolerance for like this period of time. And if you enjoy doing it, whatever, you know. I don't know. And so they start getting like, I need to train more. I need to train harder. And then they start not recovering. They start having all these bad workouts and they start being like, how do I recover? How do I recover? How do I recover? And it's like, maybe you should look at how you're training.
Mm-hmm.
It might be too much.
Well, the answer for a lot of them is kind of, as I said, they keep building that up, and then the recovery modalities have to be able to come in so they can recover. And then the nutrition has to get extremely more on point to be able to do so all these, so it does then become,
it gets nuts,
an 8-hour-a-day job.
Yeah.
You know, for all that, where, you know, you're on the other end of that spectrum to where, are you going to make the same progress if this is just at the minimum volume that you need for the results that you're looking for? Because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Yeah.
Is the results. It can take you 8 hours a day or it can take you 2 hours a day.
You better win.
Yes.
If you're doing all that mess, yeah, you're like throwing your whole life away.
Speaking, you can get 90% of the result with half the effort. So
yeah.
Like, you know,
what's
it worth to you?
Yeah. So not taking away from that at all. I just think it's like, maybe like you said, there's other levers that you can turn. Like you don't have to just always push more all the time. You just have to wait. Just be patient. Like get in where you fit in. Like take your time.
But this can be a good segue into the next topic I wanted to talk to you about, was the financial aspect of strongman, right? Because if they're doing things like that, then obviously the sport's going to begin to start to cost more because of the recovery modalities. The time in the gym can be time not actually having a job, you know, and all these other factors that go along with that. And you still have to pay for travel and all these other things. And this is your area of expertise, is finance. So when you're looking at this from a strongman perspective, amateur level and pro level. So there's two different conversations there, right? So if we go amateur level first, what advice would you have?
Yeah, like I don't want people to attack me like, oh, well, you're not the best in the world, that's why, you know.
Yeah.
And
well,
whatever. People have something to say, but hey, you know, that's okay. But I think for amateurs, that would be it. It's like, just get in where you fit in. Like people say I kind of came out of nowhere. Now that you know me a little more, I've been around for a pretty long time. I just never pushed it that hard. But I think it's like to come out of nowhere, let's say, it's like they need to objectively look at, like, reflect on their training all the time, you know, and the kind of like these different mental traps you can fall into. Like there's a lot of people that are in the amateurs that are really good, but they're really, really good at like one or two things, you know, where strongman has so many different things you need to be good at. So I would say you need to identify every time you compete or every time you train, what's the weak link, and then go a little deeper than that as to like why, you know? So like, let's say I'm bad at a certain lift. I guess we don't have to get too specific. That doesn't necessarily, it might, especially if your form's bad, you just need to do that more. That's probably the case, depending on how new you are. But if your form is good, then you need to figure out what's going wrong and where. And it could be like timing, it could be certain muscles or certain positions. And then it's like, what muscles are involved in those positions? What does the position look like that's weak? And then maybe consider assistance work that replicates the position and the muscles that are weak, and kind of drilling down into that a little bit. And then just taking your time. Like if you have any lift that looks bad, you need to fix that first. You know, like I know there's like a trend in like the newer school powerlifting where they're like hyper analyzing their stuff, and people don't like that either. But for strongman, it's like you can get bit, you know, like pretty easy. Same for powerlifting, but like strongman, we're never in perfect positions regardless. So we're always in danger. There's no real way around it. So it's like, make sure all your lifts look good. One, like for me, I've added sets and volume because I'd film it and be like, that looked terrible.
Yeah.
I just need to do that again. It wasn't even a planned set because I just hated that set.
Can't walk away from the training.
Yeah, I'm like, that just
No,
looked
that was just fast.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, you're reinforcing bad technique when you do that.
So it's like sub-maximal weight, try to pick an appropriate amount of volume you can recover from and try to at least make it look passable, and like don't fall into the trap of leaning into what you're already good at. Because I've seen it a lot, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular. Please, I'm not talking to whoever you think are. Like, I'm not talking about you. But
Yes, Mark, we're not talking about you.
No, you know.
Well, if anybody thinks that you are, then it probably is
It
true.
probably applies to them. Yeah.
I'd make an argument, like speaking of finance, because I always like if you were to back test, like let's take someone who has a really good lift and they added 10% to that lift from a really hard training cycle and they didn't improve anything else. And then you back tested it on all the competitions they've done. Did it even improve their placement? You know what I mean? Like you could add 10% to a lift that you're already good at and you already are top 3 in that event and you're 8th, 9th, this and all the other events. You're not even going to change your placement.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to, I get it. Like, it's like you watch Giants live or you watch one of these big shows and you're like, you see that particular lift and you're like, I can do that weight. Like that feels good. But at the end of the day, those guys will blow the doors off you and everything else.
The other 5.
Yeah.
So you're not at their level yet. You might have one lift that is, but you're not there yet, So it's like identify your weaknesses, like objectively analyze your performance and drill down on what the issues are, Like if you're a big, huge, strong guy and you're slow, you got to work on that. If you have a huge deadlift and no press, you got to work on your press. As much as it feels good to post your deadlift and get 1,000 views and likes, like in your press, nobody likes it.
Yeah.
The press is what you need. If you want to place better in the competition, like do your press, and figure out why it's bad. But that would be it for amateurs for sure. Because that's how I would say, like, I quote unquote came out of nowhere. Like even Finland, for example, yoke and front hold was a bad event for me. I had bad shoulders and those are the 2 events I won, because I focused on them. You know what I mean?
Put on the work into that, yeah.
And that keeps being a pattern where my most concerning events, when I know them ahead of time, end up being my best events of the show. And because I just increase, that's how, like what we were talking about earlier, it's like, okay, what is Strongman? How is it scored? You're scored on your placement in each event. You're not scored in like how much better you were than everyone else. First gets X amount of points, So it's the scoring favors people that are good at everything. So that's the way you should focus your training.
So that's not going to change even if it's pro.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Same thing. You could come in 2nd or 3rd in every single event and end up winning the whole competition. Just because averaged out, someone is good at one event, wins in that one. Another person who's got a 2nd event, wins that one. So they keep losing points. If you keep coming 2nd, 3rd, 4th across all of them, you end up having the most points total.
All right. So then what would be the advice for these strength athletes to not go broke doing the sport?
Man.
You've seen that too.
Yeah. Let's see.
Where to
so
start?
Many different cases. I mean, for anyone that's like, I wouldn't necessarily, it's like such a tough one because it's like, okay, coaching is a good way, but you have to really care about doing that and take the time to know. But that gives you a huge buffer, right? Like if you have a few clients, that could cause you to break even just that alone. Like I said, it's like you need to do a good job. You know what I mean? You can't just like throw out templates to people and ignore them, but.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying what you're watching, make sure to take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe.
I think paying attention to it's just like little details. Like I had like get these points cards, like get your miles up on the airlines, you know what I mean? These little details make a difference. And then just even how you're eating, like are you mass preparing your rice with a rice cooker? Or are you buying like the individual bags? A lot of times like convenience costs money, so you might have to do things the hard way. And maybe you don't need all that equipment. If I'm on your podcast, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. No,
you know what I mean.
Go buy some elite stuff.
These are particular for people that are complaining about the costs. Not everyone. If you have money, buy everything. But if you're having issues with that, I think like a lot of it, it's just like we're passionate about stuff. If you're good at anything, and more is more is more is more. It's like, I want more equipment. I want to train more. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, that's what all this stuff is for. Like even a program, like hard training is the assumption. I assume, like when I meet someone, I assume you want to train too hard, right? You chose to do all this nuts, like strong man, powerlifting. You got to already be like an extreme person. So I assume you're going to overtrain unless I tell you not to. Right. So I think it all kind of goes together. It's like you're buying all the equipment, you're training too hard, you're doing all this stuff. You got to just like get in where you fit in and like take your time, you know?
Now let's say they're
where you fit in is a big one.
Let's say they're fortunate enough to get to a point to where with their job and strongman, they're profitable at the end of the year, right? Where the other end of that is that can get spent really quick.
Yeah.
You know, just on more supplements or, you know, flipping coaches or whatever it's going to be. And so what advice would you have there? Because I've seen that several times, that they get in a good spot where they actually have excess revenue that they can actually do something with, you know, which could set them up later. But in their mind, it's like, oh shit, now I got this, so I can just start buying all this now.
Yeah, I would save that. I mean, I got to be careful because I'm licensed and stuff, like as regulators, I'd be unhappy if I gave out too much advice. But I would say, yeah, save that. Save that. I mean, you got to think about what's it worth. Like, are you buying appreciating or depreciating assets with it? Would be the big question, right? If I run through all, like, we have to assume when you're doing this stuff, you have a job. So hopefully this is like disposable income you just earned. So maybe just don't dispose it.
That's a life advice.
Yeah. Because I mean,
well, I'm sitting here wondering if we have to define what, you know, the difference between ascending and descending assets.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
even are in the
scared
first
of the
place.
regulators.
Well, I'll see some people win a competition where they get some prize money, for example, or they have a bonus from work or something, and they'll go out and buy the most random, useless either piece of equipment that is so niche that they use it once a year, or some sort of supplements that they've never used before, but all of a sudden they think they need a stack of 20, 30 different new things out of the blue, even though they got to this point without all of that. So what's the risk versus return on what you're actually spending versus what you're actually getting out of it? If it's definitely an item that you think that will give you a 20, 30% increase on all your strength gains, performance, etc., go for it, but sure. But if it's a 1% increase, but you've just blown half your extra bonus on it, then was it really worth it?
Yeah. I mean, so I guess it comes down to, I mean, if they're young enough, it can go be invested and be compound interest, but there can also be the compound interest on your gains. Right. And I think that's where it gets cloudy.
Definitely.
Right. Because it's always biased towards this is definitely going to be compound interest towards my gains. And then you look 2 years later and it's not. It's actually probably the same or less, where, you know, if they're young enough and they few $1,000s extra each year, you know, goes into some account 50 years later, that would be the question. I could say it. You
said it, not me.
That'd be the question I would say is if you ran those models, and there are calculators online to be able to put that in there and see what that would be worth 30 years later, then ask, is it worth paying that price for?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Because it may be $3,000 here, but then here 20 years later,
you can pay up your mortgage.
20 grand. I don't fucking know. I'd have to run the calculator. Is it worth 20 grand? You know, and I don't think they run those models through because they just think that next year it's going to, instead of being the 3 extra grand per year, it's going to be 6. Then it's going to be 10. Then hopefully it's going to be for some, it's like 50. I mean, they're winning.
Yeah, 100,
120 grand or whatever it's going to be. That's 120 grand, man. Like
before taxes.
Well, yeah. At 40 grand.
Exactly.
You know, depending where you're at. But still, you know, that 40 grand over 20 years is a hell of a lot more than 40 grand.
Yeah.
You know, where it's a whole lot more. And I don't think that they're seeing that.
And also keep in mind, like, what a luxury this is to do in general and how it could be over, you know, like if you invest in some crazy piece of equipment instead of saving that money for later, like what happens if someone rear ends you and that's it? Yeah, you got like 19 bulging discs and you're done. Like that could happen to any of us. I think people forget about that, you know?
Yeah, other than getting hurt in the sport, there's ways to get hurt out of the sport day to day.
This stuff can be taken away.
You cannot predict.
We're all just like really lucky to do it. You know?
Well, there's, as you mentioned earlier, there's a churn rate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a high one.
Yeah, a very, very high one.
Yeah.
Very high one.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is the number of people that will have aspirations to be like the people that are in the churn, not the people that have the 10 years.
Been there for 10, 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, look at the 10-year people, because this person you're following right now may be gone in the next year and did all the same things the other high churn rate people did, you know, instead of the other ones.
That's exactly my outlook. You put it a lot better than I could have. That's basically it. It's like, are you crashing out or are you here a while? You know? And I think a lot of people just like the things that I get a lot of comments, and it's from friends of mine, and they don't mean anything by it, but I feel like people just don't really get me and like what I'm doing. And it's like, man, I enjoy this. Like, I'm just enjoying myself. And that's my only goal, you know, and I want to compete at the highest level I can because it's fun, but I'm not here like with this belief that it's going to change my life, other than it's just like an interesting, cool thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some people do cars, some people do hobby house building or whatever it is. You're doing the sport.
Yeah.
But a little more seriously than just a hobby.
Yeah. But I'm doing it. I love to train it hard. So I'm just
but it's gotten you to a pro level and winning a pro show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's working.
It's working. Yeah. So I think we found like a nice place, but it's like you said, it's like, and a few things, and you touched on it earlier too. I think you need to train hard enough where you know where the limit is. Because if you never find it, you don't know. So you got to take some risks early on. Be careful, but you got to like find that limit to know, and then you need to think about that. It's like risk adjusted returns. It's like, how can I get the most out of this without it just completely negatively impacting my life and my health? Because it can do so much. Like for me, it's amazing. Like people always want to talk to me about it. They think it's so interesting, you know. Like I don't know, I meet so many people, like we never would have known each other. Like I get all these experiences. It gives you so much. So like, be careful, you know, don't turn it into a negative thing, because it can be so positive, right?
Does it help you at work?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it just shows that you can be insanely dedicated to something. So like if I were hiring someone, I would be like, hey, this person, if you've gotten to a high level of anything, and I'm sure you know this, like you see this too. It's like when you meet other people that are really good at something, even if it's not what you do, you kind of connect in a certain way because you both know what that takes.
The amount of effort and time it took every single day.
Yeah, like whether you play darts or you know what I mean? It's like you know, like you're like, all right, like you're like we're similar in some way. And I think if you're a high level manager at an important company, you're probably a pretty extreme person also. It's highly likely. So you see someone that does this thing at a high level, and especially if you were a fan of it growing up, you know, then it works out really well. They want to bring you on.
Well, I would assume when you walk into a meeting, you just automatically demand attention because of your size.
Small talk's easy.
Yes.
You know,
but I will say with that, what comes out of your mouth first is going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can be stereotyped as, you know, the stupid strongman or the stupid power lifter. But if you what comes out of your mouth is intelligent, you already got their attention above everybody else that's there.
Yeah. And they expect you to be maybe a tyrant. You know what I mean? So it makes a huge impact when you like go out of your way to be nice. You know, people really remember that.
And it's a great icebreaker when you get into a group of people and instead of saying, oh, it's rainy today or the sun's out. It's like last week I pulled a fire truck.
Yeah.
Like I'll see people and they're always like, where are you going next? Like, what's going on? You know, like, what are you working on? It gets to a point where like, and I feel like anyone listening to this that has any level of, like, I wouldn't call them, I feel like I'm on the verge, you know, but of being like, what's success really in this stuff. But if you have something you're really good at and people are interested in you and they want to talk to you, and you're going to find yourself talking about yourself a lot, you know? So I feel like you need to keep in mind, like be curious about other people too and ask them questions.
That can work against you big time.
Yeah, like all of a sudden you're just talking about yourself all the time. You might even be withdrawn because you're just sick of talking about yourself. And so it's like you need to be curious about who you're talking to and like divert the conversation back to them here and there.
Well, especially if it's a client.
Yeah. Especially that. Yeah, it's like you spend a whole entire call like talking about strongman. As awesome as that is for relationship building, it's like, all right, I have something about you too.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're like, well, how exactly are you going to help me?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to pull a truck.
Exactly.
Well, there is definitely some sort of sense of gravitas, I guess, when you're a professional athlete, a strongman that can lift big rocks and pull trucks, and then you're asking the person about, well, what do you do? Like, tell me more about you. They feel, not to overinflate it, but they do feel really good that this big professional strongman is asking you about your hobby or interest or whatever it is. And I'm genuinely interested quite often. I like to learn about the new things that other people do. So
I want to circle back to the balance thing, because you're working in an office and then there still is the gym time, right? And you're married.
Yeah.
Right. Then there's the travel, so how do you keep all that balanced?
I'm really lucky in that way, like, or maybe, I don't know if it's luck, but whatever it is, it's, we try to not get in each other's way. Like the wife and I, Adrian,
What do you mean?
Like if I have something cool coming up that she can't go, she's not going to push back on that ever. Like if I need to be at the office late and she has to go to the gym without me, like she's not going to push back on that, So it's just, we just have like, I think we have a similar background where we're kind of late bloomers and had some issues when we were young. So we know that we're like really fortunate to be where we are. And we'll be damned if we like mess that up for each other, And then we're fortunate now too, because so in Boston, we had to go to 2 different gyms. A lot of the gyms up there, and this might be a symptom of the extremely inflated commercial real estate up there, but like the gyms are more specialized and smaller, so we're down in Georgia now, and Madhouse has probably one of the best bodybuilding areas in the entire world and a strongman area. So we can actually go to the gym together where we weren't before. So that's been a huge help. Is that kind of started when she started competing in bikini, because she was kind of powerlifting before, so we were going to the same gym, and then the more she got into bikini, we started seeing each other less. And I was never going to complain about that because that's her thing. When I was doing jiu-jitsu, like she wasn't doing that, you know what I mean? But it's nice to go to the same gym now. But that's the biggest thing. It's just like, man, if you can and you trust them, just like stay out of their way, stay out of your partner's way. That's what works so well for me. And I think that's why I have all of a sudden, because for me, it's like I was kind of blowing in the wind for years, like we were talking about. And then maybe these past 3 years, just like from a career standpoint and in the gym, everything took off. And I feel like she's the variable there. So I really think it's that, it's like I get help when I need it. And other than that, like she doesn't complain about anything and it supports everything I do. And work is amazing about it. Like I can't say where I work, but they've been so cool about it. They knew when they hired me that I do this stuff. So like they expect a lot from me in a good way. Like it brings the best out of me for sure. And they know that I do everything I can for them also. Like I'm in the office 5 days a week and I don't have to be. So it's a give and take, right? Like,
what drives you the most now?
I don't even know, man. I feel like I'm just stuck like in 5th gear, I don't even know. I like things being that way. I like everything extreme all the time. So I'm just doing what I like.
Keeps the ADHD at bay.
Yeah. I'm just extreme, man.
Well, would that be extreme or would that be content?
It's I think it's somewhere in the middle. Like, I feel like I found a way to balance the two. Like I can be extreme in both somehow. I think pulling everything else out, like I was doing way too many things. I was spinning way too many plates. So now just having these 2 things, I feel like it's manageable to push them both.
Do you still do any coaching at all?
A little bit. I'd like to do more. But if you hit me up, it's not for everybody. Like I have a certain way that I do it. Like my programs are really simple because that's the way I train. Like, I train people the way I train. And
because simple is bad.
no, yeah. Well, people like, it depends on the person. You know, 'cause some people like crazy. There's nothing wrong with either one. I think it's just certain people like certain things. And so if you like a simple program, and I give feedback, like I'm not going to give you feedback on every single video, like unless you need it. Because my opinion is like people can only retain so much. And I've had people come to me from other coaches that were like, I'm sure you've seen this, like completely paralyzed from being overcoached. Like they can't even touch the bar because they have to think about like 5,000 things. So, and I'm cheap. And I like, cause I feel like a lot of times that overcoaching is like justifying a price point. So that they might've been paying top dollar for this person to just tear their lift apart every time they send a video. And now they can't even lift anything. I don't know. So like, you're going to get, it's on a need to know basis. You know what I mean? I'll pick like one thing a week that we'll work on, and your program is going to be pretty simple, and you're going to train just like me. If you like that, and sub maximal weights with the best form you can, that's what it is.
Well, it seems like if they have a career that they're trying to build, you know, that would be a better option, right? Because you get caught up in the nuance of all the other stuff. Then you're trying to balance all that, as well as the time it takes for all that, and then the mental energy, just to process, you know, the 9 cues they have to fix on every single lift when they go in. It can be a lot, you know, especially if they give a crap about their job.
Right. You can see like when people are standing there like before a deadlift, and you're like, just pick it up. You know what I mean? Like, all right,
Don't think about it. Just pick it up.
Like, so I got maybe like 8 people right now. Yeah, a few. It's fun, you know. I just enjoy it. You know, I don't advertise it, so it's word of mouth. But I like it just as much as the training.
Then what was the motivation for the books?
Oh man, that was like just the pandemic, man. I'm like, what can I do? I should do more. I haven't done it in years, and I feel like those are outdated. I'm smarter now. But I just figured out like how to just knock out ebooks, and I was like, let's see what happens, because I felt like people didn't want to commit all the way to training with me. There's like these people that are in between, like, can you just send me a program or something? So that was like a passive way for people to work with me. That's how I imagined it. Because it's like, not everyone wants coaching. So just get this book. You know, so many people bought them. It's crazy. Like I'd go in the gym and like people would be like, hey, I got this thing. And it was kind of nice because like they could have it in their hand and write on it. I didn't realize like the value of an actual like book you can hold. They just carry it around their gym bag and mark it up with a pen. So it ended up being cooler than I expected, really.
Yeah.
I should do more of that. Now you said that. Yeah, once the pandemic ended and I got a different job, I was like, I kind of just kind of fell off.
Any other topics you wanted to talk about that I didn't bring up?
Man, I don't know. I did a lot of the talking.
That's great. That's why you're here.
Yeah. I don't know. When I like to hear it, like when you imagine Strongman, like what do you think of? Like what era?
Well, I mean, I grew up to where it was be on TV during Christmas and shit like that, you know, so that's kind of what I see. So that would be like the original. And then I would say in my brain, like a gap, you know, because when I was competing, I didn't care about anything else but powerlifting. So I didn't pay attention to any of that. Yeah. Then I would say probably, 10 years ago, maybe. I mean, the dates when Shaw was in the Arnold, you know, that kind of in my brain, you know, reignited it, you know, and the Arnold kind of reignited it because it was heavier. Right. To me, strongman, it's just always like, man, this is like this manual labor shit I had to do when I was younger. You know, I hated the shit when I did it. You know, I don't know why anybody would voluntarily want to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? And I still kind of combat that whole thing. Like, why in the hell would anybody want to? This is like, it's
pretty painful.
Fucking baling hay and all this shit that I fucking hated doing all the time. And then there's people like, no, man, I love doing that. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But when the stage got shorter, you know, then the numbers is like, wow, these are big fucking numbers, right? Where it was hard from the powerlifter side. It was hard to comprehend the longer events. You know, like, is that really hard? I know they're breathing hard, but is it hard? You know? And then my brother, when I was younger, I mean, we're going way back, when I was in college, did one event, and it was like in a Motel 8 parking lot. And it was just, I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? This is like, there's like 8 people in folding chairs, and it's like running with a barbell on your back. It's just like, this is just stupid, man. Makes no sense. There was no organization. And then several years later, a friend of mine, Bob Youngs, did one. So I went down to Florida to kind of watch him, and it was the same thing. It's like, there might've been less people, you know, and it's like, what is this?
Parking lot.
Yeah. So a lot of it was just ignorance, you know, because I wasn't around it. You know, I didn't see the bigger events. I didn't see all that. And then that Arnold, like I said, when the weights got heavier, you were like, fuck, they're still using straps, but these are big ass deadlifts, man. Right. And then
Probably some bigger than any powerlifter ever did. That's deadlifts. Yeah.
Then throughout just the last several years, the connecting the dots, you know, as I'm speaking to people, it's like, this is not the easiest thing to train for.
Yeah.
Like, I love powerlifting, but it's kind of pretty easy to train for.
There's 3 lifts.
Yeah.
Not easy, but it's like, you know what you need to do.
It's easy to program.
Yeah.
It's 9 minutes of competing.
Easy to program, right? Where this is a whole different thing, where all these different motor abilities have to be in play, you know, outside of yourself. Nutrition kind of has to be on point, you know, to be able to match the training. All these variables need to fit. Then you got the Strongman League, where like, you know, now you have like, it's like an NFL player, right? You got this brief off season, then you got, well, it's not 14, but maybe you guys will get this dumb shit to every week, right? Which, imagine that, you know.
We have 16 stages every year now.
Yeah. So yeah. So
Plus whichever
now
other ones.
that becomes, and I love the complexities with training. I really do, because that's why I was asking those questions, like, what's the off season look like? How do you maintain these motor abilities? Because in a way, it's like CrossFit at a whole nother level.
Exactly.
Right? Because now absolute strength is a really big component. It still isn't CrossFit, but now it's a way bigger component. And they've got bigger people.
Yeah.
Right? So there's more mass moving through space, you know, with all that. And because they're bigger people, they can't do these marathon training sessions every single day. Like, CrossFit training sessions are insane, just to be able to,
times a day.
Yeah, just to be able to do what they do, right?
Yeah.
And that is, from a periodization standpoint, like, fascinates me. You know, the same way the NFL players or college football or all that does, because you have all these different abilities, and some of them have to drop during certain times, some have to come up, some have to be maintained. Then you got to figure that balance out. And that's kind of what Strongman, and I always thought Strongman as, you know, Arnold, world's strongest man. Okay, you got 2 peaks a year. I get it. But now, you know, after speaking to him for the last couple of years or so, it's like, there's more than that. I'm like, huh?
A lot more, yeah.
Like, whoa, wait a minute. Now, how's that work? Right? So you got to peak for some are training days, some maybe just to focus on one lift. And then you got to be cool with the fact you may not win, but as long as that one event got way better, that's a good day. I'm like, that's, periodization wise, that's amazing. Financially, that kind of sucks, right? You know, that's where I got to, because now you got to travel, you know, and spend a few $1,000.
Our league covers most of it.
Yeah. So the league's covering it, then that's amazing. So that's kind of my trajectory, my path, you know, through all that is it all boils back to the training side for me. Yeah. Because that's where it's the most fascinating, because it all still has to come together at a certain day, because it doesn't matter what you do in the gym. I guess maybe on Instagram, maybe, you know, but.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm so happy to be pushing the Strongman Champions League also, because there's one thing about spending half your year peaking for one event and coming in at the absolute best you could ever possibly be. And then you really don't have an excuse why you did so bad or so good. Whatever you put in, that's what you get. And you're either that strong or you're not strong enough for that. with the whole league, it's a lot more than just peaking for one event. You've got the whole season that you actually not only have to do well at, you have to survive to end up at the final to actually prove that you've got what it takes.
But you can have a bad, if it's football, you can have a bad game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's okay.
But you can still win the
can
championship.
make it up.
Yeah.
You know, where if it's just 2 main events a year, you have one bad. Hell, if you have one bad one, you don't qualify for the other one.
Pretty much.
You know, so if it's powerlifting, it's like nationals and worlds or whatever it is, and you don't make it through the nationals, well, fuck. Yeah. You know, you got to find some local thing maybe to be able to go there, but you can make it up. You know, that's a cool aspect too.
And I think by the time this episode comes out, we might be announcing that Strongman Champions League will have the biggest prize pool in the history so far for the finals.
That's great.
So
that's great.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to drill down on that because people are like, oh, like, you know, because there's those certain shows you were talking about. People are like, oh, why do you like Champions League so much? And I'm like, oh, well, one, like I love the guys that run it and all the guys that I compete with, of course. But two, it's in the format that I grew up. Yeah. It's like, that's the format that I grew up. Like, if you ever watched the Champions League episode, that's how I grew up consuming the sport. You know, it's like you're outside somewhere, like a cool background. It's like the locals are there watching. It's not just Strongman fans, and like you're doing all these weird events. I feel like they're still really in touch with like what I think of the sport as.
Yeah, so what I was watching when I was growing up.
It's still that format, and I love that, you know. And it's funny too, because it's like I think about, like, I love live streams, like, don't get me wrong, but I think like we're in the live stream era of Strongman, and I feel like we've kind of like we're on the heels of like the actual celebrity time, so it's kind of a weird time to be a strongman athlete if that was your aspirations, because I think that ship may have sailed unless something like Champions League can take off in the States. Because like if I was a normal person, I'm not going to watch like a 6-hour live stream of something that I'm not familiar with, you know, but I would watch a TV show of it, you know, and
condensed 45 minutes. Yeah.
So I think it's a lot more, I think it's easy because we like live in a very insulated world and we only talk amongst ourselves. And I think we end up making the sport more and more niche, you know, rather than like bringing it to them. Like when I did that Guinness Records thing in Italy, that's the most psyched people have been on anything I've ever done in the gym. And to me, that was just like a fun, weird thing to do. Like, oh, that's cool. Like people were so psyched on that. So I feel like we almost need to like zoom out and remember, like, who are we making this for? You know?
Yeah.
Because like, I think we're starting to go down this rabbit hole where we're just kind of, we're putting out spreadsheets of what already happened with the live stream and the this and the that. And it's like, live streams are really, really awesome for true fans of the sport. And like your loved ones, like before my grandfather died, he watched me compete. Like that's amazing for me. That's so cool. So like nothing against live streams, but that's for people who care about you. You know, like if we're bringing the sport to the masses, I mean, people can disagree with me for sure, but I feel like the way that I grew up consuming it, like that's how everyone knows the sport. It's like some like whoever the host is, it's like, we're here at the whatever hotel in South Africa and we're gonna do the thing, and it's like 12 guys. Like, I don't know, I love it. So it sounds like that's how you watched it as well.
And the interesting part that I've noticed, and it's been like in my head a lot, so you'll put out a live stream, it'll be the best possible live stream you put out, high quality and so on. You'll have maybe 1,000 people watch it, 2,000 people watch it. Cool. They'll sit there, maybe not even the whole 3-4 hours. They'll watch the 1 or 2 people that they actually care about. During live events, we've had anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 people watch an event live and sit in the audience for the full 3-4 hours because they're part of the live action. And these aren't like strongman fans. There are people that are like, oh, this is a cool thing. Let me come here and sit on the benches and watch it. And they stay through the whole thing with their family just because it is so enticing to see in person. So yeah, the live stream, everyone keeps asking for live streams, but it's just somehow not as, you know, dynamic, and you don't get to feel it as much. There's a lot of waiting. There's a lot of cutaways that whilst the people are there, they can actually interact with us. They can give us a high five. They can chat with us. They can take pictures with us. You know, there's a lot of that feeling of being part of the action. So being able to condense that then for a viewing audience, I think it works out a lot better for the viewing experience for the general public, because nobody's going to sit and watch through that for 4 hours.
Yeah. Do you think you maybe at some point through your career you could have been sold on it now that you know it the way it is?
No.
No, you wouldn't do
No, only because it still defaults back to the manual labor shit that I had to do.
You don't want to unrack a heavy squat and walk around with it?
Yeah, I did all the work, right? I mean, it's just part of growing up. It was just doing all the work, but, I didn't like it. And it wasn't like, this is the greatest thing in the world. It's like, but there was the component of how fast can I, if it's a whole, dump truck of firewood and I got to move it from here to here, like how fast can I do it with no eating and not quitting until it's all done, then having it be over with and be like, well, that sucked, but still doing it. But it's just kind of no, it wouldn't.
I keep going back to that really memorable one at the WSM where they had to shovel the coal into the baskets and then run with the basket and load it onto a rail cart. Yeah, like
just like shit that I had to do. Like that, it's like, this sucks, man. And especially when you're younger and you overload, the wheelbarrow, whatever it is. It's like, oh fuck.
Now you can't move it anyway.
Yeah, and there's no way I'm taking it out. It's just smaller steps to just keep going and going. So no, it wouldn't have been that. But powerlifting was able to, scratch that itch. And I was also very young when I started. So I think a lot of these things, even if it's federation, age, how you get started, what federation you get started in kind of determines the whole path, because those are the people you kind of came in with, so then that's, and especially if it's during a time you're building your identity, trying to figure out who the hell you are, and then you find your identity in that, which may be a problem, but, kind of go through that. How can people go, well, do you have any other thoughts?
I was thinking for you, sorry, now I'm like interviewing you, but
yeah, that's all right.
I apologize if someone already asked this before, but like, let's say you were kind of in my situation where you did powerlifting twice. Like, what would be different the second time?
If you're still in a peak position and you got to come back to it, what would you do different?
Yeah, like your body was good. You were going to start over.
I would have thought more of the longevity, from multiple facets, because your body's only going to hold up for so long. It's longer than what people think, right? So there's, the overuse, which you do as a kid to kind of figure out, what you can and cannot do. But then you also do it when you're later and you kind of know you shouldn't, but you still do because you think it's the answer, but at the same time, you kind of know it's not. I should have listened there. Starting PEDs too young would have been another one, because when I look at those things because basically injuries are what put me out, right? So, and had I had 4 more years on top of what I already had, right, I would have been, what speculation, could be wrong, I would have been a lot better than what I was, right? Because my peak was done in a pretty beat up state. Right? Where now if I can get to that same point, but have the 4 more years over that, then the total end result would have been 10, 15, maybe even 20% higher than what it was. And that could have been mitigated, with, prolonging the PED use longer and not beating the shit out of myself in the mid-level. Like the younger level, like I said, you get away with it, but the mid-level, it wasn't really necessary to always push that one extra set, right? Especially when you already did what you were supposed to do, but it just felt good.
Yeah.
Like, so let's do another one where you miss something.
And then another one.
Yeah. So you miss it and you're like, you could have made it. Then you missed it again. And like, and then 5 lifts later, you finally get it, but you're not thinking of all that accumulated fatigue, that happened, and that compounds and compounds. But I don't know because it wasn't like people weren't around me telling me not to do these stupid things. You see what I'm saying? So so I still, remember,
If anything, they were encouraging you.
well, yeah, I mean, I had enablers, right? You always need enablers and realists. I had enablers, but I had very credible realists with a lot of authority and a lot of knowledge that I just didn't listen to. Right. And now that I'm on the other side of the table, I got to always remember, what it was like to be over there and still not listening to those people, and then understanding that I was exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Right. And I think sometimes, even now, we all still get lost in the fact that we'll say exactly what I just said. Right. But meanwhile, if any one of us could find a way, to put 10% on all of our shit within the next month, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Hard not.
But we'll criticize.
You have to give me a really good reason why I shouldn't.
Yeah. I mean, we might look at the pros and cons, but we're definitely going to weigh it. Right. And even if the pros are just a couple clicks over the cons and they're high, still might do it. Yeah. Right. And I think we forget that sometimes when we're giving advice to other people, like, look, this is this journey, but yet every fucking one of us, we're trying to find, those ways to kind of move through that. So the trick is to help to mitigate those, because people are still going to try to find the easier way or the hack. And there are hacks. I mean, you can technically learn how to do one of these events better and you'll be way better. Yeah. That's the hack. It takes some time, to be able to do it, where there's going to be other people who say, fuck it, don't even worry about it. Just go harder. Well,
somewhere in the middle, probably.
Yeah, it's kind of somewhere in the middle. So it's a weird one. So that was a good question though, because that ping pong's back in my head all the time. Like, we tell these people, like, don't rush it, but meanwhile,
they kind of do.
Everybody kind of does, but if you can financially, make that, as you talked about earlier, the risk benefit ratio, and then strongman's I guess it would work in powerlifting too, because there's 3 events. Like, is it worth pushing this one thing, to get, say, the squat, 10 pounds better, if it could end up being a net result of 40 pounds less on the deadlift? It's still a total. Right. Where in strongman, there's more events, and I think is the key. If people can just think that through. Bodybuilders do it all the time. If they have a weak body part, they can only recover from so much fatigue. So something probably has to drop down to be able to bring that one up. Yeah. Or the strong body parts may not get trained very much at all. It's just like in maintenance mode. They figured this shit out like decades ago.
We're like, more.
We're still like, fucking put more on. I can do more. If I can't recover, I'll just eat more, take more shit. Yeah. But that's not the right answer.
I mean, part of it is also, like, especially with powerlifting and strongman, like, every year you see someone new come in and smash the PRs and, like, the records by an insane amount. And you're like, damn, I have to, like, step it up. I'm behind on this. Like, what can I do more? And then you fall into that trap of doing more and then actually not getting as much out of it as you could have if you.
It's a tricky trap, man, because there's a progression happening across all these strength sports. It's being exposed to a larger talent pool, so you're going to get more genetic outliers coming up through that.
And there's more science and understanding about it.
There's way more, passing on information of what works, what doesn't work. They're not fumbling through shit like you were doing for the first round of your whole strongman. Like,
I walked in at 20 years old. I was insane at that age.
Exactly. Where now it's
when I was 20, I was in the gym. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just lifting. Everyone told me I'm the strongest at the gym. I was like, okay, like, here's a shitty deadlift.
Now it's almost the opposite end of the spectrum, where the specialization could be happening too soon. Yeah. But hell, that's a better problem than the inverse of all that. And so what we're seeing is what you're talking about.
Like, creeping up.
It's just creeping up on everything. And it's just going to keep going up.
Man, it's funny. Like, exactly. That's because all these opinions I gave today, this is on my second round of the sport. If, like, me the first time around, if I kept training that way, I wouldn't even be here. I would have retired myself.
Absolutely.
But like that too, those young kids, because I know a lot of people, like, maybe with the younger kids, they don't like the new lifting culture and stuff. But I still encourage it because I'm like, you know what, you're doing a lot better, a lot better than me. You know, I'm in the gym on a Friday night. I'm an old man. You know, I'm just hanging around. I'm staying out of trouble. I'm a retired crash out. You know what I mean? These kids are like, they're already 20 years old, locked in on a Friday night in the gym with their pals. I'm like, hey, you know,
talking about what the best position for the elbow is and how you're supposed to wear this wrist strap. I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
fine.
That is better than what I did.
Way better.
But just do it.
Yeah.
It can annoy people at times, but hey, you know, it's all right.
Yeah. So how can people go about finding you?
Mostly my Instagram, probably. I tried doing TikTok, but I like posted like 5 times. I posted again. My Instagram's Judas Peach. Kind of a weird one. That's another thing with these young kids. They don't know what Judas Priest is. So now my Instagram makes no sense. So they're just like, Judas, like it's my name, you know?
Yeah.
Judas Peach on Instagram. I'm trying with YouTube, but it's getting a little traction if you want to go there. But
some good coverage of behind the scenes of the competition.
Yeah, like if you want to see Champions League, like less of the contest and more of what else we do, it's on there.
Yeah. All right, well, I want to thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you again, Elia.
Yeah.
And we're done.
Yep, awesome. That was awesome.
Not bad for my first one, right?
That was pretty awesome, dude.
All content you see on this channel and at elitefts.com is created by, take a guess, Elite FTS. If you want to help support the content, head over to elitefts.com and pick up literally anything that you need to be able to get more jacked and strong.